Red dots versus iron sights. Which ones are better? That's the question we're going to address today, and to do so, we're just going to get right out here on the range and do some shooting like we always do for you guys. We'll put things on the timer, we'll score things with hit factor, things like that, and we're going to break it down. So, something that I have heard a fair bit recently, something along the lines of irons can be faster than red dots up close at self-defense distances, at CQB distances, whatever the case may be, right? And I find this really interesting. First of all, let me caveat everything by saying I have a lot more time shooting a red dot than I do on irons. And so you're going to get a little bit of bias from myself and also from Justin, because we spend more time on red dots than we do on irons. However, we know how to shoot irons, and both of us started out shooting iron sights on pistols and actually iron sights on rifles as well. So we have some context to kind of back up where we're coming from here. The first thing that we want to address is just kind of whether we're talking about shooting up close or shooting far away. All right, so there's some differences there. So the thing that I hear people say the most is that iron sights and red dots are even, or iron sights are faster than red dots up close, because you don't have to worry about finding your dot, and your irons just align better. You have more of a reference point front and back, and you're not just trying to center a red dot in the middle of the glass with less of a reference point. So we're going to test that out here at the 7-yard line. We'll do some build drills. We're going to incorporate it into a bigger drill that you'll see here in a second, but we're going to test that out, and we'll be shooting this back to back. So I'll shoot this with an iron sighted M&P. All right, so both Justin and I shoot M&Ps with Apex triggers, so we're keeping our same lower, and we're just putting this iron sighted upper on our lowers. Okay, so this is the competitor slide off of my my metal competitor. And it's got some pretty decent iron sights. They're a little fat for my liking, but we'll make them work. So we'll shoot this with the iron sights, then we'll shoot it with a dot, and then I'll let Justin do the same. We'll compare our results, compare our hits as well, and see what we get. So the drill that we chose to shoot, kind of compare just apples to apples, irons to red dots, is called the Billy Drill Standard. So this comes from my friend Billy Barton of Spec Train. So this is a drill he came up with. Essentially, we're going to shoot a build drill 7, 15, and 25 yards. And instead of hit factor, we're using time plus scoring. Okay, and so the reason behind time plus scoring is it's designed to kind of favor accuracy. So something that I think red dots have a huge advantage on is accuracy, right? But it's going to allow us to test the speed of how fast can we actually shoot alphas at 3 different distances. And so, of course, alphas are going to be the most important thing. Shooting nice and clean. You're going to get penalized for Charlies by ½ a second, Deltas by 1 second, and Mikes by 5 seconds. So we want to make sure we're shooting it clean, but of course as fast as we can as well. So 7 yards here. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this with irons first, and yeah, we'll see what we can put together here. So one thing that's interesting to notice, right, is the way I shoot a red dot, and the way that everybody should shoot a red dot, is staying target focused 100% of the time. You stay target focused, you have a very high contrast dot or reticle in front of your eyes, and you just allow that to interact with the target as you stay connected visually to that target, okay? What is different for different people is how they, whether they use a good hard target focus or use a front sight focus at different distances. And so for me, and I think Justin is about the same, for me up close, right, I'm definitely going to be using target focus. And as I get farther back and I'm needing to stay very accountable for my hits, just the best way that I know how to do that is to actually bring some of my focus back to that front sight. And for me, I've got to actually squint or close my left eye in order to get that front sight a little bit sharper and clearer and get a better understanding of where it's at on the target. So just want to throw that out there. Different people do it different ways. Some really good shooters can just stay target focused all the time with iron sights. I'm just not quite there yet. So, all right, let's shoot this drill. 6 rounds in the A zone, hopefully. And yeah, I'll see what we can come up with. All right, that was a 179. Looks like I've got 1 Charlie. Let's actually show the hits here. That way we see where things were. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 1 Charlie just a little bit high and a 179. All right. Not terrible. Something I'm noticing right off the bat though is my index, right? A lot of people talk about the index being different. my index feels exactly the same to me, really honestly. So just bringing those sights right up to my eyes and then just looking through those sights just like I look through a red dot, and just picking up that green fiber optic the same way I'd pick up the reticle in my dot. Okay, so not much difference there for the iron sights versus the red dot. But I will say I felt like I was less aware of where my front sight was during recoil. Okay, so kind of relying on that natural index. All right, next string is 15 yards, and same thing, 6 rounds. Here we go. All right, so that was a 353. Let's check out the target, just because I want to show you guys the hits that I'm getting on each one of these strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. Yep, 12. So I threw 1 Charlie right there on the right. So not terrible. 353 though. I don't know. Might be a little bit slower. Might be a little bit faster. We'll see. All right, back here to 25 yards. All right, so back here at 25, this is where I've really got to start connecting to that front sight a little bit more. I wish I was at a skill level where I could just still look through it. I need to play around with that and experiment with it, honestly. But at 15, I was actually still fairly target focused. I was still aware of my front sight kind of bouncing up and down. I called 1 left and 1 right, and that left one ended up still being an alpha. The 1 right was a Charlie, and I'm actually pretty happy that I was aware of my sights enough to call that 1 Charlie at least. All right, 6 rounds, 25 yards. Here we go. All right, so that was a 6.67. All right, so my split times are actually about 1 second or so. Try to have a little bit more awareness of that front sight, be focused in on it a little bit more. And yeah, it looks like I actually just threw 1 extra Charlie. So not a full front sight focus at 25 because I've got a full open IPSC here. So I felt like I was still very aware of my front sight and where it was in relation to my rear sight as well as the target, and threw actually just 1 a little bit high. So that's actually pretty good, but it took an eternity, 6.67. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add up the times to see what my total time is, and then we're going to switch off and shoot it with a dot. All right, so total all this stuff up, right? Did a 179 at 7, 353 at 15, 667 at 25. Each of those strings I had a Charlie, so total of 3 Charlies. Charlies are worth half a second, so we added 1.5 seconds. So my total raw time was an 11.99. Okay, so we just add 1.5 seconds, and we get a 13.49. So that's that number right there under the total. So 13.49 for the billy drill standard. So now let's go ahead and switch back to a dot, and let's see what we can do with a dot. Oh, hello, you beautiful red dot. Love it. All right. I'm not biased at all. This is a completely unbiased video. All right, bill drill 7 yards with the red dot. Here we go. Stand by. Yeesh. A lot of trigger freeze there. That was a 2 second on the dot, and got 6 alpha in the target right there. All right, moving back to 15 yards. Here we go. Stand by. It was a 2.8. 2.8. And we should be clean. Called all good shots, a little low. And yep, still everything in the A zone. All right, move back to 25. So what am I seeing so far, right? Minus the kind of terrible first string there, 2 second bill drill. I'm seeing first of all, I'm seeing better contrast, right? Oh, we walked right past the 25. I'm seeing better contrast with my dot. So as the gun comes up, I'm actually seeing a flash of red into the A zone, and that's my cue to go. All right, so with iron sights, I feel like I rely a little bit more on the kind of that natural point of aim or that natural index. But at 7 yards, I'd say about the same, irons and red dot. I actually did a little worse with the red dot, but I had an extra alpha, so about the same. And then at 15, I shot that way faster. So the last one was a 3.5 at 15, and this one was a 2.8. So almost a full second faster. What's nice about a red dot is I'm actually watching a dot fall and drop straight into the A zone, and it's smaller than my iron sight by quite a bit. And so I'm actually seeing an actual red dot inside the confines of that A zone, which gives me a lot of confidence to break that shot, and yeah, definitely faster at 15. So now 25, let's figure this out. I think the last time to beat was a 6.67. So we'll try it out. Here we go. Stand by. All right, I called one a little right and one a little low and left. That was a 384. So about half the time at 25. Again, same kind of thing that I'm seeing at 15 and feeling a lot more confident. All right, so let's count up the hits. I should have 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Actually, they're all there. So that's going to be a clean run on the billiard drill standard. So I'm not going to have to add any time for penalties. So we'll pace this up, then we'll go figure out the times and kind of talk about the comparison. All right, so what we've got here is 2-second bill drill at 7. 2.0 on the dot, and then we did 2.8 at 15, a 3.84 at 25, and all of them are clean, so I don't have to add any penalties. So all of that total up together is an 8.64. So I'll write that down right here. So 13.49, 864. So let's do the difference here. That's going to be a 4.85 difference with iron sights and red dots.
All right, guys, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to shoot the billiard drill standards. Got the iron sight slide, the MMP slide on my MMP frame. I also have an Apex trigger, trying to keep things as consistent and uniform as possible. This is also like my main gun. So we're going to run it. Like Brennan was saying, I have most of my time on a dot, but I started on iron sight, so we're going to see how this goes here. All right, stand by. Okay, that was a 209, pretty slow, but all in the alpha zone. All right, so we're gonna walk back to the 15. I can tell you that at 7 yards, I'm having a hard target focus, and just kind of seeing my front sight kind of jump and dip back into sight picture. But coming back to 15 and 25, my focus is going to really start shifting more to my front sight. All right, here we go. Stand by. Okay, that was a 443. It's pretty slow. Had a couple Charlies here. Had 2 Charlies. These were my first 2 shots. Now we're going to walk back all the way to 25. So for 15, I was focusing on my front sight. When I first had my presentation, my eyes were just naturally focused on the target, so it kind of messed with me to kind of change my my focus. So coming back to 25 here, it's going to be even more challenging, but we're gonna roll with it. Okay. Stand by. Okay, that was a 465. I believe that was faster than my 15 yard. Nope, about a quarter second slower. Definitely had a couple more Charlies though. So for that one, that Charlie and that Charlie, that was my first shot. Kind of overcorrected. Then these were my next 2, and then kind of the rest of them back in the A zone. So let's go ahead and tally all these times up, along with the penalty of 5 Charlies, which would be an extra 2.5 seconds, and we'll see what kind of times we lay down on this. All right, so 7 yards had a 2:09. That was clean. At 15 had a 4:43, but dropped 2 Charlies, and then at 25 had a 4:65. Dropped 3 Charlies on that, which is not great. Total time of 11:17, and with 5 Charlies, that is a penalty time of 2.5 seconds, which is 13:67 total time for that. So just over Brennan's 13:49. My 7 yard was clean, but I started dropping way more Charlies than him. A little bit quicker, but didn't really end up working for me in the end. So gonna go ahead and switch to my red dot slide and see how that compares. So got my red dot slide with the Trijicon SRO. It's the same 5-inch barrel and slide as the iron sight slide. So we're gonna see what kind of times we can lay down. Here we go. Stand by. All right. 2 seconds, pretty conservative. Honestly, it's pretty slow. First 2 shots were a little low, but it's still all alpha. So we're gonna walk it back to 15. And 15 is where a dot really starts to show its advantages for me and my vision and my shooting. 6 rounds in here. Here we go. Stand by. That was a 3:23. Felt pretty good about all those hits. Called all alpha. Okay, so it looks like we have 1 Charlie. Didn't call that. Thought that was closer in the A zone, but we're gonna roll with it. Now back to 25, which is everyone's favorite place to shoot handguns. All right. Here we go. Stand by. Felt pretty good about that. That was a 3:28.
What was your time at 15?
And it was a 3:20 something, or a 3 something. It was a 3:23. All right. So we have 1 more Charlie. I was wondering if that was going to be out or not, but it looks like it is. So we have 2 Charlie. We're going to go ahead and tally up all the times and see what we got. All right, so 7 yards with my dot, 2 seconds. That's way too slow. I should be laying down a 1.6 or 1.7 or 1.8 consistently. 15, 3:23, still pretty slow. Threw a Charlie there, kind of stupid. And then 3:28 at 25. The fact that these are so close together in time means that I should have shot way faster at 15, but whatever. Total raw time is 8:51, and then we had 2 Charlies, which adds 1 second, which is going to total a 9.51 hit factor, or not hit factor, total time. So not quite as good as Brennan's 8.64, but still quite contrasted to my 13.67 with iron sights.
All right, guys, so what you see right here is our best approximation of what I see are about 7 yards shooting the bill drill. So you'll notice the target is blurry and my sights are blurry as well. And that's just because we're trying to see, still see some definition in that front sight, because that's what I see with my actual eyes. But in reality, it would look about like this, except the target would actually be clear and crisp in my vision. So I'm going to shoot a bill drill here, give you guys an idea of potentially what my sights look like when I shoot about 7 yards. Here we go. All right, so that was about 6 rounds. I think I've got 1 in the Charlie on the right there. Zoom in a little bit. Yep. So that's about it, right? That is me kind of looking through my sights to the target, seeing the target sharp and clear. Again, that's the only difference, but that's about what my sights look like as best as I can, aiming through the camera. All right, so what you guys see right here is actually pretty cool. This is about what I actually see through my eyes. If you've shot through a red dot before, you know. What's cool is when I'm focused on the target, the dot is crisp and clear, and the back plate and the actual optic itself all just kind of fades away into the background because I'm not focusing on it. I'm actually looking at the target. So we're going to go ahead and shoot 6 rounds here and show you guys what the dot looks like under recoil. All right, so what you'll see here is as we zoom in, you can see the hits there. The hits are kind of whatever, not ideal trying to aim through a camera, but you guys can see all that dot does is just flash kind of straight up and down in a 6 to 12 fashion. All right, guys, so Justin and I were just laughing. That's essentially what it looks like when you focus on the front sight at 25. Not really, you can see way more, but yeah, this is about what we're trying to get with a hard front sight focus. And you can see why I don't like shooting irons. All right, guys, so this is what it's going to look like from 25. Obviously, we're seeing the target sharp and clear, and the red dot is also nice and crisp because we're focusing on the target. Just put off 6 shots here and kind of give you an idea what that looks like. And that's about it. So, yeah, 25, nothing really changes. Getting a nice hard target focus and crisp red dot, and that's one of the beauties of red dots. Okay, that was a 538, so 40 points possible. 2 Alpha, 2 Charlie here, just squeak them in there. Yikes.
Good group though.
This one's 2 Charlie, that's 4 Charlie, and a Delta. So 4 Charlie, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 4 is 12. 40 minus 12 is 28 divided by 5.38. That's going to be a 520 hit factor. So you're going to just write that right here. 5.2 hit factor, Brennan irons. All right, we will paste this up and shoot it with a dot.
So Brennan, so far, how do you what do you think about iron sights? You going back to iron sights?
Not even a little bit.
You sure?
Well, we'll see how this run goes.
You sure about that?
All right, that was a 543. So let's get out the whole calculator and figure it out. So let's see, 40 minus, we got 2 Alpha, 2 Charlie, so Charlie, 2 Alpha here. Ooh, that's not so good. 2 Charlie on the left there, so that's minus another 4. So that's 32 points. Divide that by 5.43. It's going to give me a 589 hit factor. So I will throw that up here on the board as well. 589 Brennan dot. Yeah, so not awesome. That was a pretty terrible run with my red dot. But yeah, significantly better. Time.
All right, that was 7:17. All right, so we got 2 Alpha, 2 Alpha. I had a mic over, and I made that up with that guy right there. So that's kind of funny. All right, we got 2 Alpha and 2 Charlie, which is 4. So 36 points divided by 717. 36 points divided by 717 is a 502 hit factor. So bad. Okay, felt a little bit better. That was a 548. All right, so we've got 2 Alpha here. That is a line break. So we've got 1 Charlie, so that's down 2. This was my first shot, second shot, that was a delta, made it up with an alpha, so that's 2 alpha there. This one was mucho bad, Charlie delta. That was my first shot, and started exiting on that. Not good at all, very bad, but it's what it is. All right, so down 4, and then that's going to be another 4, which is 8, so 8 points total. So 32 points divided by 5, 4, 8 is a 5, 8, 3. So Brennan still edged me out by 0.06 hit factor.
All right, guys, there you have it. So our little very non-scientific test, if you will. I don't even feel right calling it a test. First of all, super biased. Like, I'm super biased towards dots. Justin's super biased towards dots. We're big proponents of shooting red dots on handguns. I always tell people to start off with a red dot on their handgun because it's easier to learn, it's easier to call shots, there's less to work on, other than maybe the presentation a little bit.
I kind of equate it to when you first started driving, would you have rather started on an automatic car or a manual car, right? A manual car, you have to focus on a lot of the mechanics of driving versus like rules of the road and your speed and all that other stuff.
I can just hear the people in the comments right now, I started on a manual.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes.
Yeah, but exactly the same thing. Like, if you're going to start doing something that's super complicated, if you can kind of cut out some of those extra steps that you might have to do, I think that's it, right? You know, automatic versus like a manual transmission, I think that's a pretty good thing. So did red dots or irons win? For us, it's red dots all day. Here's what I will say about them being fast. So I think that irons and dots can be just as fast at like confirmation 1 levels. Right? I think you can. I'm just out of practice with it. I'm not seeing my front sight flash up and down like I should, but I definitely think you could be at that level very easily. When you start pushing back to like that 15, 20, 25, even beyond 25 yards, man, that is where red dots will just demolish irons any day of the week. It's so much easier on your eyes. Both eyes open, just focusing on the target. I mean, do you have any?
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, I started off shooting irons. I know you did too, but my weakness in my shooting journey has always been distance work, and so going from iron sights to a red dot without any difference in actual skill, my accuracy and my performance at those farther distances just naturally increased because I could see more, I could shot call better, and it just made it easier for me. And I know that it's been the same story for a lot of people.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. That's what we've got. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and it was maybe interesting to see the same person shooting the same drill with irons and with a dot gun, which is pretty much the same gun as well. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I've got.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, guys, like, this isn't, like you said in the beginning, it's not the most conclusive test because there's a lot of bias here. We have way more time on dots than we do on irons. So take it for what it's worth, but we had fun. I'll be honest, I haven't shot irons in years, so it was kind of fun to knock the rust off. So guys, go ahead and leave a comment below whether you're team irons or team dot. Let us know what you run and why. Until next time, keep practicing and shooting. We'll see you on the range.
That's really hard for me to say.
I don't know why.
Practice often, shoot well, eat finer. Thanks. All right.
Man, I really flowed with it though.
Say, keep practicing and shooting, and we'll see you on the range. Say that 5 times.
Keep practicing and shooting. We'll see you on the range.
Yes, that's so easy.